Even if it turns out that Barack Obama didn't order it and sit there and say, bug Donald Trump or whomever in Trump Tower, if it happened, it's still guilty as charged in my book. And, you know, we keep hearing there are these transcripts that show connections between Russia and the Trump aides and top-level Trump campaign officials and transcripts and phone calls. And, well, doesn't that involve bugging?
Yeah, the Obama gang wants to have its cake and eat it too, which is to say all this surveillance shows collusion and, you know, shows that Trump is a bad guy, but they don't want to answer any questions about the surveillance, why it was done, what was the purpose, and then subsequently why was it illegally leaked, the material that was gathered through the surveillance, such as the transcript of the phone call between the Russian ambassador and General Mike Flynn, who was forced out of office as National Security Advisor to President Trump as a result of this targeted illegal leak.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now what Judicial Watch has done is you're suing the CIA and the Department of Justice and the Treasury for records relating to something we're kind of talking about here, the intelligence leaks regarding General Flynn.
That's exactly right. We asked for these records, I think, last month. And we still haven't gotten answers, maybe even in January. So we sued in federal court. And it's now going to be up, frankly, to the Trump administration, hopefully to disclose these records. And hopefully they now realize they have an opportunity to set the record straight here and do what President Trump wants to be done, let the truth come out and show just what was going on here.
And let's talk about something that you said earlier, having it both ways. I mean, it's so obvious. Yet, of course, no surprise in the media reporting of this and in the interviewing of guests who, you know, just by their remarks, that you could see they want it both ways. The media just let them all skate. In other words, you talk about this Russian connection. And by the way, when pressed, they all admit there's no evidence of collusion, as the FBI told Reince Priebus, and as the New York Times story said. And a New York Times story in the day of the inauguration or right after talked about surveillance being used against the Trump people. So, I mean, it's all out there, yet the media just marches through life pretending and having it in their reporting anyway, both ways.
And that's why they're overreacting to Trump's tweet. He hit them where it hurts and where they're most susceptible. As best I can tell, looking at this, you know, and I've been doing scandal investigations for nearly 20 years. I have a pretty good idea and instinct as to where real scandals are here in Washington. And I know there's a scandal related to the Podesta hacks. Looks like the Russians may have been behind it. And we kind of know the outlines of what happened there. And that's just really relatively straightforward investigation to continue and shouldn't cause too much consternation from anyone. It is what it is in terms of the Russians releasing that information in an effort to either make Hillary's life impossible or maybe to sway the election generally.
Yeah, no.
But beyond that, the only other crime we know for sure that still remains uninvestigated, as best we can tell, are the illegal leaks of the surveillance, arguably illicit surveillance, of the Trump incoming administration. There's no doubt those leaks were illegal, and there's got to be a criminal investigation. And our records requests and our lawsuits are going to try to find out exactly what went on in that regard. And hopefully, just as we did with the Hillary Clinton email scandal, we're going to set the leads on this and set the leadership and become the leaders in getting this information out and forcing the agencies to take appropriate steps, forcing Congress to finally do their jobs and maybe get some accountability under the law here.